Okay, so this is the first talk about the CoastWatch utilities. It's a package of geographic data processing software with specific functions for satellite image data. I'm going to highlight its functionality, where to download it, who uses it, and what some of the latest improvements are. It's an important piece of software from the perspective of it's useful in analyzing and processing geographic data prior to distribution on a data server, and also for CoastWatch end users of data. The original CoastWatch utilities came from me working as the operations manager at the West Coast node in the 1990s. And often when I would look for a way to perform some operation on the CoastWatch data files, I ended up having to write my own code. And so I started bundling up my code into a package, and then I documented it, and then I started sharing it with people. So that's the genesis of this. It was originally from operational work at CoastWatch node. So the utilities read various formats of geographic data, including HDF and NetCDF, both level 2 and 3 map data. And they're agnostic to the type of or the units of the data, as long as the pixels can be associated with some latitude and longitude. They report information, process and combine data by compositing using math expressions, map data to projections, and generate images, among other things. And most of them are command line. You can script them, and the CoastWatch data analysis tool is a graphical user interface. So the next question you might ask is, who uses the software? It's actively being used by a number of groups. The functionality is weighted more towards both data processing and mapping or registration. A number of groups, including central operations, they use most of the functionality that's in the package. Also the AXPO regional monitoring system. We have users at the East and West Coast nodes, Great Lakes. Miami, I think, used to. I'm not sure if they still do. We have commercial data users that get CoastWatch data from various nodes and then, in some cases, use the CoastWatch utilities to prepare their value-added products or to extract the data from the files and put it into their own software. We also have NOAA NESDIS staff, ad hoc, sanity checks on data and rendering. And we also have, finally, we have CoastWatch data analysis users around the globe that use it for viewing CoastWatch products directly. So what this means is that users rely on the software, CoastWatch data users, and we have to create periodically new versions to address bugs, handle new formats, handle different types of metadata, and so on. So we create a new release about every 6 to 8 months. We make beta releases available between major releases that have bug fixes and new features. Since the last meeting, we've had one release, and there's going to be another one this year coming up. And there are installable packages for Linux, Windows, and Mac that automatically install everything you need, including the command line tools if needed. And packages are available from the coastwatch.noaa.gov central operations website. It's also open source on GitHub. So you might ask, why download the latest release? And so I've got a few highlights here that will be coming out. One of them is the CoastWatch data analysis tool now has an added metadata display and searching window for helping with troubleshooting metadata and finding metadata in a file. There are new command line parameters to control multi-threaded computation in the data processing tools, and that helps with when transitioning to the cloud, depending on what kind of system you're implementing the data processing on. You may want to adjust how much memory is being used, and the memory is impacted by the number of multiple threads that are running. And also, you may have an instance in the cloud of some number of different processors that are sharing, that you're sharing among programs, and you may only want the processing to take up a certain set of processors. And finally, one of the options that we've added to the CoastWatch rendering tool is the hybrid mode, and that there was always code to do that kind of thing by assembling true color and color enhancements, but this is just a nice way to put it all into one tool. So the in this case, this is an example of Sentinel-2A MSI data combining true color with a chlorophyll index. And finally, there are Java virtual machine updates and various bug fixes and documentation updates in this latest next one coming out. So I'll just do a little demo of command line processing and the CoastWatch data analysis tool.